Now, let's take a quick journey through Nigeria's tax reforms from 2015 to 2025, from the era of amnesty and stability through yearly Finance Act adjustments to the landmark Nigeria Tax Act of 2025. This evolution shows how Nigeria moved from revenue recovery to modernization, consolidation, and taxpayer relief. Let's begin. The era of amnesty and stability, 2017, VAID's program. The Voluntary Asset and Income Declaration Scheme focused a one-year amnesty window for taxpayers to declare previously hidden assets and settle back taxes without penalties. The Finance Act era, that's annual updates, 2019 Finance Act of 2019, major shift, increased VAT from 5% to 7.5%. Now, the Small and Medium Enterprises Relief introduced 0% corporate tax for small businesses. In 2020, the Finance Act of 2020 was more or less digital tax, establishing the significant economic presence to tax foreign tech giants like Netflix, Google, etc. Now, it was also the COVID period provided various tax incentives to cushion the pandemic's impact. In 2021, the Finance Act of 2021 introduced the electronic money transfer levy of 50 naira on bank transfers, imposed capital gains on tax on digital assets. In 2022, they raised the tertiary education tax from 2.5% to 3%, introduced the sugar tax to help out health issues, that's excise duty on non-alcoholic carbonated drinks. In 2023, refined, adjusted rates on luxury goods and clarified rules for petroleum profit tax. We're still looking at the tax situation, a landmark overhaul. In 2025, the Nigerian Tax Act, signed in June 2025, which will go into effect from January 2026, repealed 50-plus fragmented laws, merged them into one unified code. Now, the agency replaced the FIRS with the Nigeria Revenue Service, now created an 800,000 naira tax-free threshold for individuals, raised the tax-exempt turnover threshold to 50 million naira, and consolidated various small levies, that's police, IT, science, into a single 4% development levy. Now, I'm being joined by Israel James, who is a political analyst and convener National Youth Dialogue on Tax Reforms. Thank you for joining us, Israel.
Thank you for having me today.
This looks like a lot of stories, a lot of back and forth. So, in simple terms, for the man out there who will be watching and want to know, what exactly are we talking about?
Well, it's a bit difficult to simplify because it's not something that has happened before. And we are looking at a catastrophic constitutional breach because, according to the Nigerian Constitution, the responsibility of drawing up laws for the Federal Republic is solely and is exclusively meant for the National Assembly.
Yeah.
And when we have such privileges and rights being tampered with, we are looking at something that has never happened before in the course of our history. And now is not the time for us to keep quiet about it. It's an issue of national concern and should be addressed urgently by the President of the Federal Republic.
Now, what exactly are you talking about? Now, I know that a lawmaker came up that what was approved or what was passed in the unified chambers, in the green and red chambers, is not what's out there. It's not what's about to be gazetted or what's going to be implemented. You think it is true?
We don't want to say we think it is true. It's still going to have over around being alleged for now because the Federal House of Reps had set up a committee to investigate the report. But what I have to say about this, time is being fast spent and Nigerians are losing confidence in the institutions that they hold responsible for guiding their lives and drawing up laws for themselves. I myself am someone who appreciates constructive dialogue. You know, young people, young Nigerians constitute almost 70% of the Nigerian population. And when they hear stories like this, there are certain approaches that they are very, very much conversant with, which is not what we want right now. You see, that was why at the peak of the interest or the peak of the conversation of the Nigerian tax reforms, I had a dialogue, a National Youth Dialogue on Tax Reforms. I convened that dialogue in partnership with the House of Reps Committee on Youth in Parliament because I saw that it was going to be an excellent opportunity to have young people sit together with lawmakers and air their interests and concerns about the law. And now a lot of efforts, resources were put in by several youth groups and most of the young Nigerians in this country. And we came to a final concession, and there was a law that was gazetted and passed. So if what we had discussed, deliberated on, and worked with the members of the National Assembly to get passed has been tampered with, it's a critical issue. It's not something to
as you
keep quiet
said, it's
about.
still an allegation.
Now,
but there's no proof that this has been tampered
now
with.
there are several documents that have been online, that have been addressed. Now, the copy of the gazetted copy, I have it, and I have the one that has been passed by the presidency.
Okay.
And there are certain differences.
Oh, you have noticed the
Yes,
differences.
I've noticed the differences.
You have what
but the National Assembly is saying that they want to take time to investigate it. But this was moved on the floor of the House sometime last week, and I don't think it's supposed to take more than 3-4 days to pay attention to something that could lead to an instability.
Let me just see. I have a document here that talks about what was gazetted, as in what was changed,
yes,
what the lawmakers passed, and the implication of it. So one of those enforcement powers says,
yes,
what was gazetted says tax authority can arrest via law enforcement.
Via law enforcement.
Okay. What the lawmakers passed said tax authority can investigate.
Yes.
So now, in this case, they can arrest via law enforcement. It's not saying that the tax authority itself can go ahead and arrest.
Now, that is not the issue. The problem is this. What we saw on the document, what we were aware that the National Assembly had approved, has been tampered with. That's not even the only...
I know. That's not... I just picked up down. Reporting threshold, individuals 25 million, what lawmakers passed was 50 million. What was gazetted was 25 million.
That aside, there is an aspect of it that parliamentary oversight was reduced. And now we can't afford to have executive arm of government function independently without the legislative arm of government, because the lawmakers are those who represent the people. So when they speak representing either their federal constituencies or their senatorial districts.
The National Assembly said they can summon, demand, report, and enforce accountability. But you're saying what was gazetted means oversight provisions were completely removed.
So you see what we have in our hands. And now, earlier before the screen rolled in, you're beginning to see several youth organizations and other organizations instigate and call out for an abruption in our societal values. So we cannot afford to allow that to happen. Today's date is less than 14 days to January 1st, which is the implementation. I think the right thing for the president to do would be to immediately suspend the implementation. We should not be in a hurry to pass that law. Do you understand? Because when we go ahead to do that without clarifying these rumors, because neither the presidency nor the National Assembly has took a stance to say it is wrong or not. You get my point? And so with that degree of uncertainty, we should not pretend that we are going to be surprised that by January 1st...
Are you uncertain? I mean, you're saying that you have the two documents. Are you uncertain?
I leave that decision for the National Assembly to make, because that's why we voted them into place. They have the authority to address this issue. So what I'm saying is this. First of all,
right now, I'm not saying...
president...
No, you're a young man who's seen the two documents.
Yes, I have.
You convened the youth tax reform,
yes,
but youth body. You have seen the two documents.
Yes, I have.
Are you convinced that there has been an alteration based on the two documents?
I am aware that certain provisions that was gazetted is different from what was passed
in the House.
In the House. Now, what we need to know, what was signed by the president, what we are asking the president to do is to suspend the law first, pending the outcome of the investigation by the National Assembly. And the time frame should not be too long. Let's not stretch it into next year, so that we don't have other people use this as an excuse to create instability in the country.
Thank you so much, Israel James. Thank you, political analyst and convener, National Youth Dialogue on Tax Reform. Thank you. We do hope the president will hear this and move real quick.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.